Hi folks, John McCormack here. This is the second video in a series designed to empower people to do self-management. This one is looking at the question of times when people are already managing the problem very, very successfully and they maybe don't recognise that. It's part of an overall series of videos which is an attempt to give people the knowledge and skills to successfully become their own therapists. My belief is, as a therapist, that I should make myself redundant as soon as possible with each person I work with so that they can carry on and manage their own recovery journey. So I hope you enjoy this, the second video. Great truths of life and great truths of therapy, which is change is constant and inevitable. And I've put there exceptions. So you need to hear that. Change is constant and inevitable. Obviously, that's bad news if you're loving your life because change is going to happen, and that's a bit disappointing to know that everything can't stay the same, but you know that anyway. But it's also good news if you're in a horrible situation that change is constant and inevitable, and that situation will change too. So I think it's just interesting to challenge the idea that we can actually be stuck because change is constant and you're compelled to change as you move through life from birth to death. Change is happening every minute of every day. And it's an interesting truth because in terms of people's problems, people might come for help saying, I'm a chronic alcoholic, I'm drinking all the time, and I need help. And then in the conversation, as we listen to them, they'll spontaneously say, but last year I went on holiday to Ireland for 2 months and didn't drink at all and didn't feel like a drink. They'll say that, but not attach any great significance to it. Now, we do attach significance to it. That is what we mean by exceptions. What I've just described is an exception. It means times when the problem wasn't happening, or times when it was happening but you were managing it better. So, what's the key point about exceptions? Well, exceptions are super important, but we fail to spot them and we fail to explore them. And we don't attribute them to ourselves necessarily. We maybe think it was just a fluke, or it was just that time of the year, or it just happened because I was in Ireland. What we've got to do is look out for exceptions. So if you are watching this because you experience anxiety and sleeplessness, there will be moments in a day, moments in a week, where that anxiety goes down the way. There'll be other times when it's up, and there'll be times when it goes down. Even if it goes down only briefly, to some degree, it's really important that it goes down. And what we do is we invite the person to become collaborators with us, and we invite them to spot when these moments are happening and to give us some feedback about what they're doing that's causing it to happen. So the significance of all that is people already have parts of the solution in place. So if someone, has what appears to be a long-standing problem, in actual fact, if we examine it, there will be parts of the solution already in place. And it's not the job of this therapist to bring the solution. It's much more the job to help you find what's already working, right? So this is typically how a session might end, working with somebody who's brought their anxiety. And we want to demonstrate that it's a collaborative process. And so we might find ourselves saying to someone, look, I need your help here if we're going to work on this problem. I need you to be an exception detective. So what I mean by that is I would like you to look out for, in the coming week, times when you get, even briefly, what it is you said you wanted. So if you said you wanted to be more calm, look out for, in the coming week, moments when you are actually more calm. Notice what you're doing, notice what you're thinking, notice who you're with, notice where you are, and come back next week and we'll have a chat about how you were causing that to happen. Do you see what's happening there? We're not giving people the solution, but we're helping them to detect and spot moments when it's already happening. The interesting thing is people do come back with feedback about moments where it happened. It's fascinating. And even in a prison, prisoners have been able to, having been through this exercise, tell me a week later about moments where they felt at peace with themselves, moments where they felt hope, moments when they found the whole experience tolerable and bearable, and they were actually getting something out of it. These might only be moments, but those moments are significant, really significant, and these moments prove that all of us have got some kind of foundation that can be built on. We're not a problem waiting to be solved. We are part of the solution, and the solution already exists.